your girls, Meesa and Meah from You Already Know. It's M&M Live Radio, and it's the moment you all have been waiting for.
That's right, Meesa. Together, they own one of the largest Black-owned radio stations. In addition to that, they are producing what will be the biggest faith-based hip-hop, Christian hip-hop, Latin CHH, and gospel hip-hop music festival going down in Los Angeles this fall. Listen, we want to welcome the masterminds and the creators of the God's House of Hip-Hop 2020 Summerfest, Emcee N.I.C.E and Chantal Grayson to the show. Listen, how are you guys feeling?
Man, blessed and highly favored up in this piece. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Listen,
Super blessed.
Listen, love that, man. Listen, guys, well, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you both here on M&M Live Radio. Thank you guys for taking the time out to hang out with us here and talk more about this festival coming up.
Oh, fantastic. We look forward to it.
Man, absolutely. And we're so excited to have you both on the show to talk about 2020 Summerfest because we know that this event is going to be legendary. Bananas. Okay, so Chantal, I want to start with you really quick. So tell us, how did the idea of Summerfest actually come about?
Ooh, great question. Okay, so as you know, Emcee N.I.C.E is a music vet. He's been in the music business for 25 plus years. He'll get into that. But his last album was going to be one for God, one for him, because was a secular hip hop artist. And so that last album, Praise, winded up doing amazing. Like God just put favor all over that album. Yeah. His first record out was with Mr. Richard Smallwood. He did the remake of Angels. And that winded up going #1. I'm going to fast forward through the album. The album ended up having 5 #1 records, the #1 gospel record. It just was amazing how God just opened up doors for that. So one day we were talking, and there's a lot to that story, but I'm going to get to the point of where God's House of Hip Hop Radio came in. So one day we were talking and we were like, we have to create an ecosystem for artists that have these amazing albums and records and music ministry that comes out. So we got together and we winded up partnering with Dash and became their first all CHH, which is Christian hip hop, Latin Christian hip hop, and gospel hip hop radio station. From there, our first year out, we winded up being nominated and the nominees for a Stellar Award. We actually took that Stellar Award home. We were the first all CHH, radio station that became a Stellar Award winning station. And so we, again, N.I.C.E and I were sitting around talking and we're like, you know what? Let's one up it. Let's level up. The natural evolution of a radio station is to have a street fair, street jam, power jam, one of those types of community events that kind of brings all of the genre of hip hop together. And so we got together and we just masterminded, okay, we're going to do God's House of Hip Hop 2020 Summer Festival. 2020 doesn't stand for the year. It just happened to have landed in 2020. It means that through your faith, you have perfect vision. And so that is how we winded up birthing the radio station and the festival as a labor of creating an ecosystem for artists with music ministry to provide for their families, to get the message out there that good music still lives, to amplify God's word. N.I.C.E, you want to take it over?
You did a pretty good job. Yeah, like I said, it was about really creating an ecosystem for the culture. We noticed that a lot of Christian hip hop artists, they'll perform today, but then have to go to Uber tomorrow. You know what I mean?
They'll put on Uber, but they'll have to have 2-3 jobs,
Yeah.
It's hard to provide for your family in the music business.
And so, how do you create value? And that was the whole thing, is we wanted to create value for the culture to where when they do sign with record companies, they're getting fair market value versus being underappreciated. Because record companies would be like, well, Christian hip hop don't have venues that allows them to recoup their money, or Christian hip hop don't have radio that allows them to recoup their money, or Christian hip hop don't have print and media that supports it. And so what we wanted to do was like, okay, let's start doing that. When we did God's House of Hip Hop Radio, the first objective was to get the artists straight from a business standpoint, understanding, the submission process and the business behind that, whether it was publishing, ISRC code, because our motto is, if we can't pay you, we don't play you. You know what I mean? And the only way we can play you is if you're taking care of the business. You know what I mean? So that's the first step in developing the ecosystem for the culture.
Man, Meah, OGs, okay? Chantal, Emcee N.I.C.E, God's House of Hip Hop has not only created an ecosystem, but a creative space and a culture for CHH. I'm in awe.
I'm in awe too, Meesa. Honestly, I feel like I love the word ecosystem because when I think of an ecosystem, I feel like where people or those certain elements of wherever that ecosystem is, that's where they're able to live and thrive. And I feel like that's what we need is spaces like that. So I'm so grateful for the both of you. But of course, the Summer Fest was supposed to happen last year, but of course we all know good old COVID came and it happened, threw everybody off, but we're glad that it's coming back. So Emcee N.I.C.E, I want to talk to you a little bit. What separates 2020 Summer Fest from most festivals that have happened?
One, we're faith-based hip hop. You know what I mean? That alone separates everything. We have the most women performing in any festival in the world. That alone separates the festival, and the fact that a lot of people are saying, hey, how do you guys compare yourself to Coachella or EDC or all these other festivals that's out there? We have our stars. So our stars is Coachella. Our stars is EDC. So yeah, that's why the comparison. So when you think about it, it's 70 plus artists coming together in one city, the city of angels, by the way. You know what I mean? So coming together in one city to celebrate God. We always saying unite the fans, unite the culture, because not everybody know who Derek Minor is.
Yeah.
Not everybody know who Joey Vantes or Manny Montez is. You know what I mean? So by bringing the collaborative, entities together, that's what makes us unique. You want to tap in, Shani?
Well, I think our festival goes beyond that as well. So yes, we are uniting the fans and uniting the culture, but we also have a program that we call Sow a Seed. And so basically what we do is all of our artists, because this is a team effort. This is some heavy lifting going on right here. So all of our artists, that have nonprofits or that have been out in the community working with different churches, we know how hard 2020, the year, actually was for people. A lot of people didn't make it physically. A lot of people didn't make it emotionally and mentally. A lot of businesses, especially small businesses and minority-owned businesses, just didn't make it or are barely making it. So we said, well, we already have the event, and it's hard for people to do fundraisers. Fundraisers mean you have to have an event to do a fundraiser for the most part. You're not going to do like those old school, telethons people call in, and that still takes resources, right?
Yeah.
N.I.C.E and I already said, well, shoot, we already have the resource. So why don't we extend our festival and make our festival one that actually gives back? So we started the Sow a Seed program. So we give nonprofits and or churches custom links. And for every ticket sold from their custom link, we donate $1 back to their organization. So for example, they spread the word of what we're doing, which is God-filled. And then we in turn sow that seed back to them. So we are in a sense being their fundraiser, and a lot of a lot of festivals on this level don't do that. They might have one or two organizations that they give to, but we figured we have 70 artists, 25 shows, 3 legendary hosts, Curtis Blow, Chris Chicago, Willie Moore Jr. So we figured what we would do is we give them all a code. Hey, if you generate 500 ticket sales from that, we're going to donate $500 to your favorite charity of choice or your church of choice, so that we are now impacting the community, because our artists are coming all the way from Puerto Rico, Florida, Oklahoma, Philly.
All over.
And now we just sowed that seed there. It's like Oprah, and you get a car, and you get a
you're funny.
Talk about it. Right. And I love that so much. God's House of Hip Hop doing this Summerfest 2020, what sets them apart from all the other festivals out there in the world? They're just different. They're faith-based.
What other festival not also gives music to the people, but also gives beyond that?
We'll wait at this point. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, but you guys truly have a heart of God, giving towards, so many people out there, to charities, having a global impact, all in the city of angels. But really quick, another thing that sets this festival apart from other ones is this heavy hitting lineup. Okay,
heavy.
So the lineup is ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy. Now, how are you guys able to rally up some of the most profound artists and voices of the generation of hip hop and Christian hip hop?
Well, the thing about it is one, getting them to understand that this is for us.
Yeah.
It's almost FUBU, for us, by us.
Talk about it. Talk about it, MC.
And the unique thing is we're paying everybody. See, most of these artists are used to just either getting honorariums where it's either something or nothing, or you're getting sandwiches, or you're getting cars, you're getting rides, and having to sleep at different people's houses. No, we're covering everybody, even the artists that are up and coming, like that are not known in the culture, are getting taken care of.
That's good.
We're taking care of the hotel. We're taking care of the flights. We're taking and giving them their money. You see, so at the end of the day, we come in different because that's the way we want them to understand. On the secular side of things, this is how it's done. Well, not really all the way done, because some on the secular side, some of those artists are paying to get on the stages of the major festivals. We charge nobody, because at the end of the day, we want the mindset of Christian hip hop artists, Latin Christian hip hop artists, and gospel hip hop artists to understand that there's value there, and they have to know that in order to project that. You know what I mean? And in order to project that, you have to feel that. So we giving them A1 treatment in regards to doing that. So when it came to rounding the artists up, we went and had honest dialogue with them. Like, hey, this is what can happen. This is how it can happen. And this is what we're going to do.
Listen, and y'all are definitely doing it, man. Listen, guys, your girls M&M are hanging out with Emcee N.I.C.E and Chantal Grayson, the creators of the God's House of Hip Hop 2020 Summerfest, happening on September 17th and 18th in Los Angeles, California. Now, I love this festival because I can't tell you how many times I've seen different festivals happen where there's CCM base and you see those little sprinkles of CHH and Latin CHH.
Yeah.
And that there's sprinkles for us, but it's not balanced. And there's not, we sometimes we feel like we're not really fully a part of it. We're just kind of there so they can serve a certain audience. And then we're off the stage. You know what I'm saying? So Chantal, I want to ask you really quick, why do you think it's important for events like Summerfest to exist? Like, do you feel like there's a scarce number of platforms or events for the CHH genre, Latin CHH genres to thrive in?
Absolutely. That's why we're here to change that. That whole Mullen concept. Again, it's like N.I.C.E said, it's about viability. But there's always got to be someone first to market. Haynes didn't just, he just came up with ketchup, but he wasn't the first to ketchup. He was just the first to get the word out there on a massive level. So, I mean, for any great achievement, I'm going to take your line. For any great achievement, someone has to be the first to do it. And so it's not that there hasn't been CHH, almost like pop-ups, like CHH artists have performed at churches and smaller like parks and things of that nature. But we're here to tell people that CHH has already saturated mainstream. You're just not aware of it. For example, the other day, we happened to catch a glimpse of the BET Awards. Well, the exit commercial for the BET Awards was coming in hot with
I lost my mind when I heard that.
So people are already they're already aware of it. They're just not cognizant that it's CHH. Like N.I.C.E, the NBA 2K was Toby Nwigwe.
N1K Few,
N1K Few. I mean, so if you look at it,
even Joey Montez with Christian Dior. So like, a lot of people didn't know that. Yeah,
so it's already around you. It's just that you didn't know that artist happened to have an extra label onto that hip hop called CHH, right? Because sometimes when you label something, people are like, "Oh, wait, that's of the world. That's not of God. That's not of church." But then if you listen to the lyrics and you get to understand that it's still very rooted in the Word of God. 99.9% of our artists are married with children and family oriented, and they're not about that foolishness that you see in other factions of hip hop. I think once people are perceptive of that, I think once they see that it can happen on this level, that this festival is going to be an annual festival, that this is going to be something that other smaller venues are getting together. Nav, you went to, where did you go this past weekend? You went to Domination in Virginia?
I went to Virginia. Yep.
Okay, so different things are now starting to spread. It's almost like when we started God's House of Hip Hop Radio, there weren't all CHH radio stations on that level. There were like little terrestrial radio stations had like 2 hours here, like you said, a sprinkle, like like afterthought. But since us, now there are 8 BDS reporting stations, right? So those are that report to Billboard. that have now surfaced and that are thriving, right? So again, creating that ecosystem. It always goes back to that ecosystem, but someone had to be the first. You know, when you guys started your, you know, your podcast and your radio station stuff, you had to be one of the first two, you know, young Black females out there saying, you know what, this is what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, this is what interests us. These are the artists that we want to see come on board. And, you know, you had to be the first to do that. And you're 8 years strong, right? Woo-hoo.
Right.
8 years, long time.
Thank you.
8 months. It's 8 years, okay?
Yeah.
So to answer your question,
before there were shore mics.
Yeah. Listen, N.I.C.E, we come a long way, man.
We come a long way.
And y'all know what it means when you start from the bottom and now we're here, you know? So, but I love what you said, where if you want to be great, I love that you said that somebody's got to be the first to do it. And I commend y'all so hard for being the first to do that, because I know I'm not even an artist, but I know that it's so key for us to have these platforms, and y'all are doing it. And I know that with this, more and more are going to come from this. People are going to be more inspired, so there can be more platforms like this one.
So let's talk about this, okay? Because I mean, at this point, we talked the entire time about Summerfest and what it offers and how it started and different things and what to expect. Let's get to the point in which somebody is buying their tickets, okay? Let's say someone is contemplating getting their ticket, whether they live in LA or they're considering driving or flying and traveling of some sort and paying time and money. Why is Summerfest? Why do you think it's important for someone to come out to experience Summerfest firsthand?
First off, think about Kanye West's Sunday service. You know what I mean?
Energy.
He saved souls with just music.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't want to go to church to hear you preach at them. You know what I mean? Sometimes they just want to hear the word, message to the music minister to them, and then they mess around and go change their life. So in this case, we're saying that you're going to have 75 different personalities, different types of music that speak to different types of people that's going to save a bunch of lives. So, you know, what we're doing now, we're going to pastors and saying, you're wondering why the youth ain't in church. The youth ain't in church because you guys haven't evolved yet. You know, you're still stuck in the past trying to get them to sing these Kumbaya songs when Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and Little Baby and the Baby is out there doing it for them.
Yeah.
I said at the end of the day, we have Megan Thee Stallion, we have Cardi B. It's just that our message is positive. Our message is for the Lord. Our beats are competitive. Our rappers are competitive. We have from battle rappers to Christian pop rappers. We have them. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, this is the reason to come, because now you ain't got to worry about getting shot. You ain't got to worry about all these violence breaking out because, you know, some people got the wrong colors on. You know what I mean? Or people got attitudes. This would be everybody coming to serve the Lord and listen to some good, refreshing music. And you can bring your mama to, and you can bring your babies to, you know what I mean? It's all ages, you know, so that's the reason to come, is to come, fellowship, be amongst like-minded, you know, and serve the Lord. You know, when they say when two or more are gathered, well, you're going to have thousands gathered, you know, and that's the move.
Yeah,
Listen.
absolutely. And I tell people all the time, if you cannot make it to LA, we still don't have your typical streaming. Ours isn't just, oh, I got a streaming ticket and now I'm going to sit there in front of my computer and just watch people perform. No, not at all. That's not how MC N.I.C.E and I don't roll like that. So our streaming is super interactive. You can go on there. You have 7 different camera angles you can select from while you're watching. You can play games like hip hop, CHH Hip Hop Jeopardy, and spin the wheel of fortune, win swag. You can chat with other people all across the world because our streaming is in 44 different countries. So you can like literally during the festival say, hey, what are you doing over there in Germany? Or hey, what are you doing over there in, you know, the Netherlands? You know,
who was the first to buy tickets, by the way, from when the tickets went on sale and the streaming tickets, the first people to buy was like Switzerland, Germany, UK.
Wow.
Like,
Impact, man.
Yeah, so it's not just your typical stream. I tell people all the time, you know, it starts at $20, but that $20 is uber interactive. Like you have opportunity to win stuff from our brands that are going to be on there. It's just, we're going to just try to make it as lit as possible, even though you just couldn't make it to LA. We want you to come to LA. Don't get me wrong, because it's going to be electric in that house, you know? And
well, it's nothing like the city of LA anyway, the palm trees and the breeze and the ocean, you know?
It's a different vibe.
And it's not in the fall. It's the last day of summer, by the way.
Okay, listen. So we're gonna end summer off with a bang, then. So I love that. I love that. We're ending summer off with a bang, and therefore, either way, what y'all are saying is whether you come to LA or whether you watch online, you have no excuse not to participate. And I feel like anybody listening right now needs to be ready to tap in. But listen, guys, I can't tell y'all this. Thank you guys so much for doing this and being a part of the show and talking about this. Listen, but before you guys go, tell everyone where they can learn more about 2020 Summerfest and get their tickets.
www.2020summerfest.com.
Yeah, 2020summerfest.com.
Yeah, and then you also follow us on IG at 2020 Summerfest. I just gotta say this. Like she was saying, for any great achievement, someone has to be the first to do it. So why not us?
Yeah.
And at the same time, we strive for perfection so that we limit our mistakes. We're not perfect people. We're going to constantly strive to be the best that we can be, and that's what's up. So I say to all the faith-based believers, Christian hip hop listeners, like, if you're really not supporting this, are you really supporting the culture? Because by supporting this, you're supporting your brothers, you're supporting your sisters, you're supporting all the different factions that help keep, CHH, Latin CHH, and Christian hip hop, gospel hip hop relevant.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I agree 100%. But listen, guys, make sure you guys don't miss this one-of-a-kind event. Again, go to 2020summerfest.com to learn more about the festival and get your tickets.
And Emcee N.I.C.E, Chantal, thank you so much again for hanging out with us on this week's show. You always know that you have our support here at M&M Live Radio. That same ecosystem, that same culture of just support that you have always created for everyone here at CHH, and even us media personalities. We need to give you your flowers while you're still alive to even smell them. We really appreciate y'all from the bottom of our heart. Y'all keep on being generals for, the genre of hip hop and just, God's kingdom all together. But we thank you so much for having the opportunity to hang out with us here on M&M Live Radio. We'll talk to y'all soon, all right?
Most definitely.
Absolutely. So now, to all of our listeners out there, while you're out there buying your tickets for Summerfest 2020, we're going to play some music from some of the artists on the headlines with us right here, right now.
That's right. So vibe to these songs, and we'll be right back. You're listening to You Already Know.
It's M&M Live Radio.